Hey, Tyler.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing real good.
Good. You ever have that younger cousin that you have to entertain because the other people your age are out of town?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was what it was like last week on the Vox Cascadia podcast. So thanks for coming back to me, buddy.
Yeah, happy to be here. So,
Had to babysit Connor. So Connor, how you doing?
I'm doing good overall, Chuck. Can't complain. Glad Tyler's back. I did miss him, but it was a good time. I hope at least last week.
Yeah, and Tyler, in your time away from us, what have you been up to?
just fumbling bad bitches left and right.
That is a thing that does happen on this podcast, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. You know me. That's the life I live.
I'm so glad that line got so much reaction because that was entirely the point, and I'm glad everyone enjoyed me making a fool of myself.
Yes, all the plan in Zinch, changer of ways. Connor, you've revealed yourself.
Sometimes I'm smart, and it only comes through when I have to make a fool of myself.
Yeah, I feel like that was you didn't plan that line. I feel like that line actually came from a place inside you that thought it was I don't know, thought it was something, and then all of a sudden it's like, I mean, you're right up there with the Haktua girl on the internet. It's right there. It's the new hotness.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what's going on with that thing. Sierra tried to explain Hawk 2 or whatever to me the other day, and I still don't get it. Is it just some girl that said a funny thing in an interview?
Yeah, like I've seen it, and I don't really get it either. Like, okay, you gotta spit on it sometimes. Like, okay.
If Sierra really wanted to explain the Haktua to you would get it.
Chuck, that's disgusting. This is a PG podcast.
This has never been a PG podcast.
Yeah, we swear way too much, or at least I do.
Fuck yeah.
Out of all of us, you, Connor, are the one with the potty mouth on here. When I think of someone who swears like a sailor, I think Connor.
That's fair. I was raised by a sailor. I then worked in a kitchen for like 4 years, which is like the second most swear place. And then I now work for the sailor side of the government, so that's on
The
me.
second most swear place. You're precious.
Thank you. Well, I try to be good, but I'm terrible at it. So
What was the kitchen that you worked in?
I worked at a restaurant. It was
Yeah, I
a place up in
figured that.
Paulsbo. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh? But I worked up. It was like a bar and grill sport place. Not so much like a sports bar. It was like a somewhat nicer-ish establishment. But I worked there from like the age of 18 till like 20, young 20s, and I was by far the youngest person. And I think I was the only one that didn't smoke a pack a day. I did try a cigarette though, and I decided then and there to never start smoking because it was awful.
That's a good decision.
You know what you remind me of sometimes, Connor? Like the main character in like a 1950s sitcom. You're so sweet, like very sweet. You're a sweet man. Thank you.
I
Don't ever
appreciate
change.
that. Thank you, guys. I'll take some kind words.
Well, every once in a while you get them. Generally not from me, although I'll I beat you down, then I tell you I love you. That's what I do. It's not, I don't know if it's the healthiest relationship, but it's what we have.
Yeah, it's like a codependent one. You need me to provide dumb shock value, and I need you to keep me on track.
So Tyler, besides fumbling bad bitches, what have you been up to in the hobby portion of things?
I've just been working on like little miscellaneous stuff. I finished like a weird piece of terrain. Well, I posted terrain on my Instagram last week, so I painted up all the stuff from what Termination Nightmare. What is it? Can't even remember what we're on. Yeah, Termination. Yeah, painted up all that. That was really fun. I think it's some of my best like texture work I've ever done.
Yeah, that stuff was grimy. It looked really good, actually. Like if you would have told me that this was just something on sitting on a dock that Connor was working near, I would have believed it.
I definitely think it's like my most realistic work. I tried to paint something else to that quality afterwards, and it wasn't quite there. It all came together just right.
Sometimes stuff just clicks, especially with terrain when you're trying to make it grimy and dirty.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the color. I think yellow is the best color to paint like gross and dirty terrain. There's just like such strong contrast, and all the colors like look really good together.
Connor, what about you? What have you been up to?
Not much myself. Tyler definitely saw those photos of the terrain. They look super cool, and I'm always glad to see grimy terrain because I myself, like as much as I love the grimy look and playing on fields with that, I prefer my terrain coming out a little bit nicer, or not so much nicer, but like appearance cleaner, because I like to think my AdMech would take care of any sort of machinery stuff. so it's always fun to see grimy because I just don't do that with my terrain. But I myself, of course, working on AdMech, got like 3 of those stupid Sidonian Dragoons built, the little chicken walkers. And then I've been building up a new squad of Rust Stalkers too. For I need them for a narrative campaign I'm playing in.
Playing in a 40K narrative campaign?
I'm gonna be doing that soon as well, probably after the Tacoma Open. But no, over in Waystone, good old Matt and Sabrina Remy have started up another narrative campaign where they play like 2 rogue traders. They always get really into character and like wear outfits and post little videos, which is super fun. But I'm joining up in that again.
Nice. Where did they post the videos in like Discord, or are they doing them on some social media?
Mostly on Discord, they have like their Instagram pages where they'll post them as stories and then kind of tag us if we're on Instagram or post them in the Discord, which is always super fun because it's like actually getting like an announcement from your rogue trader about what your mission this week will be, which is it's just fun. It adds to the character and everyone's really good at writing up reports and stuff for it.
That sounds pretty cool. You should share those on the Vox Cascadia Instagram in our stories when they post them. I'd love to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we've got one up and I'm back in the campaign, I'm definitely will be doing so. I'm going to be doing something unorthodox. I'm obviously playing Hunterclade. I was debating doing Herotech Circle, but what leaned me over to Hunterclade was like, I'm going to take a super unoptimized competitive roster and just go for Murder Death Machine. And I have a Sicarian Princeps as the leader. And essentially, he's got a attack almost as good as the Patriarch, and I can make it become a Power Fist worth of damage, which will be very fun.
That was a lot of words about AdMech, and I trust that you know what you're talking about.
I'll try and keep it minimal at this point now. I did too much at the beginning for our poor audience.
Yeah. Me myself, what I've been working on. I picking away at my Brood Brothers. I got some decals on them, and I'm gonna paint over most of the decals with just a little bit of the decal showing through, like their old troopers that have been corrupted by the been shown the light of the Four-Armed Emperor. I've also been I got myself a painting set up over at Jenna's now, so I can actually do a little painting over there, and worked actually on some Strike Force Justian guys. I've got the captain, the sniper, and the heavy bolter left to do. So, but I haven't didn't play any kill team. I need to get some more games in. I really only got that one game with Brood Brothers, but Nick's coming down this weekend, so we should get a bunch of kill team in this weekend.
Nice. I saw Nick got some terrain painted up too. He did a fantastic job on that Octarius stuff, and actually put like every light bulb has its unique detail, which is super exciting. Well done, Nick. That's way more effort than you see most of the time.
Yeah, it's definitely more effort than I'm willing to put into a set of Octarius these days. Looks really, really good.
This is his second set of Octarius he's painted. He helped me with my set of Octarius, which is why it looks as good as it does. So, but this is his. So he's really putting some effort into it. And he hasn't painted like 20 of them how you have, Tyler. So I can imagine that you wouldn't put that effort in. He's not going to put that effort in past that first set either.
I was going through my stuff this weekend. I actually found 2 extra sets of Octarius that I didn't know I had.
Just randomly like have Octarius just like.
I mean, like, yeah, unfortunately, at this point, I am drowning in Octarius and Into the Dark. I have so much terrain to paint.
You know those horror movies where like they think they get rid of the cursed book or ring or whatever, and then it shows back up like when they wake up on their nightstand or something? That's how I imagine Tyler's life being like with Octarius.
That's not necessarily Octarius. That's going to be like a set of Beta Decima that all of a sudden pops up.
I actually clipped my Beta Decima the other day. I think I'm going to paint it up just because like it'll be super fast, but I'm not ever going to use it as kill team terrain, just like some display stuff. You
think you'd use it as display stuff, or you could make it on an open board. Actually, they'd probably play better on that.
Yeah, I actually like cut up, like the center walkway that's supposed to go on the big furnace or whatever. I put that on. I've got like one of those little like dome things that's like cool for 40k looking terrain, but like it's not like good or functional. I like turned it upside down and I like put the walkway on that, and I think I'm going to do a resin pour in that at some point and kind of do like a weird board for open, but we'll see. Hopefully before Killscream 3.
Yeah, I started digging into my some of my narrative terrain from actually the Gallowfall box. I was clipping out the escape pods and building. There's a bunch of little cool surgery tables and stuff.
Yeah, like, and then just like the tool tables and stuff, the cups, like the random stuff that was there. Like I think it's really fun. I definitely think at Killscream 3 you may see some weird tables that you wouldn't expect. Maybe variations on Dakota's LVO pack is very famous Into the Dark pack. maybe with a little bit of narrative terrain, maybe an extra open wall somewhere or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds very fun because I think that's one of the biggest complaints I hear people say for ITD beyond just like it being a little bland if all the symmetrical maps, but how there was all this awesome like every single one of the narrative terrain sets added some really cool stuff. But the problem is if you use it, it can really swing ITD into even more crazy melee folk or like melee strength teams. But
Yeah.
it's kind of I love the exploding balls. I wish those were as a thing like added in later on by GW as official maps.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some more weird stuff. Killscream 3 is a good chance to get weird with a lot of our stuff. Some of it's obviously going to be hyper competitive, the kind of things you'd expect, but some of it's maybe pretty strange out there. We're going to have fun with it, and that's the main thing we're looking for with it.
What do you guys think about now? This has got me thinking. What if so? A big beef with Into the Dark is that the maps get kind of stale. It's pretty set based on the map packs. Do we need maps that have maybe less walls, bigger rooms, and more like light terrain, or maybe even like heavy terrain pieces in the middle using those narrative pieces? Or would that just basically be like another open board?
I think it would be a variation on open. I don't think it would necessarily be bad. I just think it's not what people are expecting. I think a lot of the community's expectation is to be able to do all tac ups on all maps. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that you should be able to run all of your tac ops as equally on every single map as you would every other one. It should actually be a choice. I'm big on choices being made, asymmetrical maps, different tac ops being more viable on certain maps than others, and people needing to adjust to that. So I'm down for it.
Yeah, fully agree with that myself. That's one of the things I remember a lot of Dakota's earliest variations in the map. You couldn't do a ton of secure explored or secure unexplored rooms or whatever it's called. And I really like that. I liked that, like Taylor said, you'd have to pick different ones. And for some of the ones I've been working on myself, that's definitely the intent where one side will have like maybe 2 rooms to get access to, but the other one will have none at all, which is, I like that. I think it's better to force people to look at the map and make decisions. And if you come with the same expectation every time and don't adapt, you kind of are going to have a not worse time, but you're going to not score overall as well, which I think is a pretty cool thing. And then as for your part, Chuck, absolutely would like that. I think one of the coolest things for ITD is like when the maps, they have like the bigger rooms. And then I've sometimes seen people like just for fun put these scrap piles in them, which creates some really weird maneuvering in Into the Dark. But I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I think that there's like lots of different room, like there's room for expression of skill in this game in different ways. Whether that is having all of your stuff planned out very tightly in a pre-planned map pack, or something like very wild and very different that maybe you wouldn't normally see, and having to adapt to that. It all has a place in testing someone's skill, and not every event needs to adhere to the same kind of thing that every other event does.
Connor, to go back to what you were talking about, you have been working on actually making your own maps, and you did get some feedback that some of the maps that you made, you weren't able to score unexplored rooms. I challenge you to make a map that uses a chunk of the Into the Dark terrain, but then also has some bigger open rooms, and then you fill up those rooms and give some light cover in there, which nobody's going to have vantage, so you're not going to be able to, you're not going to have to worry about taking away the light cover. So I think if you had like a big center room and some lanes on the outside, you could mix it up in there too. And I think you could pretty easily mix up the map too by moving the cover around in there too.
That's not a bad idea. That's definitely something I've considered where like I want to do maybe like 6 or 8 maps that are both asymmetrical and a little bit more balanced, I guess, or like not so much balanced, but the intent would be that they're a little bit more competitive ish, as well as if you only had a single box of ITD terrain, this is all you could build. But then I've thought it would be fun to do like a bonus like page or two of maps where like say each page has like 2 maps on it, but they're really weird with what's on it, and you'd have to build them in pairs. Like you'd have to have 2 sets of ITD, but as long as you build map 1A and map 1B, those will be maps that you can physically build as long as you have like 2 sets. So that way you can do, like you said, some really weird stuff with like one map might have a ton of big rooms and some very light cover or like only a single hallway wall in them, while the other one might be like super compact and stuff. That's not a bad idea. I might have to try that out where like these ones you're not going to be able to build with only a single map or a single box, but most of us Kill Team players have at least one thing of ITD and probably some set of open terrain that you could work with.
How about this? How about some ITD maps with doors that are already open?
That was maybe one of the ideas I've had. I was actually working on that one earlier. It's funny enough. It was a slow day, so I got back to the theming of maps. I've come up with all the names because that's always fun to do.
Well, you've got like 3 months until Killscream. Can you build a map and get it actually featured at Killscream? Probably on one of the lower tables since it'll be unbalanced. But you should see if we can get a map ready and get it approved by Tyler, and then we can run it to Killscream.
Hell yeah, I'd be down to that. The biggest thing holding me back from at least publishing the first 4 is I'm going to have to figure out how to make them look nice. I found a couple of the online resources, but they were just a little bit too slow compared to what I'd want to use. It's like it was a lot of drag and drop, and I want something that I can use a little bit faster, as well as with my own art style. But hopefully, I can get something like that made in the probably after Tacoma Open. I'm putting a lot of my projects on hold till after that. But then, yeah, that'd be fun to have them at Killscreen.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I think you can do it. I believe in you.
I believe in you too.
Thanks, guys. And if you come to Killscream 3, you too can play on one of my crazy maps and tell me if it sucks or not.
Possibly only on day 3, though. Well, we'll see. We'll see. They got to be tolerable.
That's fair. Yeah, my goal is at least if I can get them finished, like version 1.5, because I've already gotten some feedback on some of them. By like mid-August, I can have a month and a half where I can publish them out to like the broader community, and then have like a Word doc or not a Word doc, but like a Google survey form. Like, what map did you play on? Which side? What did you think? And stuff. So then I can try and get feedback and adjust as needed.
So, changing topics real quick. Tyler, you got a chance to listen to the podcast last week, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and this is a question that Nick brought up, and part of it, he brought it up because he wanted to hear us talk about it with Connor. So we're going to give you a chance to talk about it with Connor. So we talked about what Connor's riders would be if Connor, being the celebrity that he is now, was booked for a live event. And now Connor picked, I believe it was cold diet Dr. Pepper, In-N-Out Burger, someone to listen to him talked about AdMech,
Paints and stilts.
paints, and a celebrity. So those are the 5 things that I believe that Connor, if my memory serves me right,
I
that
thought you
Connor,
guys settled on stilts so that he could like finally like see what it's like to be the height of a normal person.
is that what it was? I can't remember. Connor, do you remember what your 5 things were?
I think celebrity was one of the suggestions, but I think stilts was what he settled on.
I don't recall. I thought we mentioned stilts, but settled on celebrity. And hey, I am I am perfectly average height for the worldwide average, just not the U.S.
Yeah.
because we're stupid
No.
tall here.
You're a great height, Connor.
Thank you.
Yeah, just perfect. Fit right in.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, what would you think that the true riders that Connor really, really, truly, deeply inside wants that he's afraid to tell us are?
I mean, like, he really needs a fridge to forget his medicine in. I think that's happened at almost every event.
No, it's only happened at one, but I do.
No, it's happened. Everyone. It's happened more than once.
No, I always tell people to remind me to not forget it, and then this time I didn't.
I think you had to go back another time. Like, we left.
I might have had to go back for something, but I know the insulin was only once because I never forget those times because it's only happened like twice my entire life because it's terrifying.
And then, yeah, it's actually the Dr. Pepper one was spot on. You don't want to see Connor without his Dr. Pepper. He's like a Mormon child in the morning without one.
So we've got a fridge for insulin. We've got a fridge for Dr. Pepper. And apparently also somebody remind him to get his insulin out of the fridge afterwards. Well, what else have we got?
He also needs the name of a restaurant 20 minutes away to recommend to everyone that he's never been to.
So we can send you there to have some drinks and then come back and terrorize the Puget, Western Puget Sound area.
Absolutely. Or just like, risk it all on dinner. He's like, oh no, this place is great, guys. It was great, but I've never been here, he tells us at the end of dinner.
Sounds about right too. Yeah. Or how about this? Rather than a place like 20 minutes away, just like a set of takeout menus from like 20 minutes away. So he can be like, we can say, hey, where are we going afterwards? And he can just pick one with no idea what the quality of the food is like. And then we get to say, yeah, this is going to be great. And then we get there and he's like, yeah, I've never been here before.
Yeah, sounds about right. But, it's turned out well so far, right?
Anything else that you think that Connor really needs?
I mean, and then it's a chauffeur. That's it. He'll say that he's like good to drive, not because drinking, because he doesn't drink. It's just he's a public danger when he's on the road.
Is this true? Is this true, Connor? Are you public
Come
danger on the
on.
roads?
I don't know. I think I get distracted. I'll give Tyler that, but I think when I'm driving, I am safe. I have never once received a ticket or been in a car crash.
You know, here's all I'm gonna say. You're not the worst driver I've ever been with, okay? But that is the exact thing that the worst driver you've ever ridden with says.
You've never been in an accident, but how many accidents have you caused that you just sped away from playing with
Zero.
your
There's
phone?
been zero. The only time I've been in an accident was I was like 1 year old. So, that.
You're way too young to drive then,
Yeah,
sir.
well, no one told the 1 year old baby me that I was too young to drive. I just thought it'd be fun.
Tyler, anything else that you think he needs? Anything else that's really just going to like dial in a performance for him?
No, I think that's it. Like you meet those needs, and he's pretty taken care of. He's gonna talk about his AdMech to you. Like he may ask for some paint supplies, but he'll probably buy them if you don't provide them. Anyway, the other stuff pretty non-negotiable.
Yeah, I think that's a more realistic list than what he gave us. Although I did enjoy the like somebody to listen to me talk about the AdMech.
Yeah, I mean, like, a room full of bad bitches never hurts. So,
He's just going to fumble them left and right.
but like everyone else is gonna be entertained and amused by that. So it'll be good.
I'm glad me fumbling bad bitches can be entertaining. Thankfully, I've gone through that phase and I'm okay now.
How old are you again, Connor?
I am 26 years old, Tyler.
Yeah, I like can someone even be a bad bitch like below like I don't know like 24 or something like that? Like I think you need like just like that little bit of life experience. Like there's like probably like some variation like a degree margin of error I think is the technical term. But like other than that, I think minimum age probably right around there.
Every time Connor fumbled a bad bitch, though, I'm pretty sure it was reciprocal, and they felt that they had fumbled a bad man as well.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
because I am such a bad boy, Chuck. Absolutely.
I mean, baddest boy I know. When I think of trouble, I think of Connor.
Yeah, that is for sure. I'm sure everyone that's ever met me thinks like, damn, that Connor, he's a bad kid. He's like nothing but street.
I mean, like, I think that you could possibly get a bad rep in, like, the Boy Scouts or something like that.
I never did like Boy Scouts. As much as I like the idea of like building those little cars and what stuff, I even as a kid was too much like I don't want to do authority type thing. I'm just gonna do what I enjoyment of. So I guess that could kind of hold up.
Too cool for the Boy Scouts. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Well, something else that is coming out that is too cool. Well, maybe it's too cool. Age of Sigmar 4th edition is coming out. Are either of you interested in it? The Skaven Tide box is coming. It's got a bunch of rats and it's got a bunch of Sigmarines. What do y'all think?
It looks pretty boring to me. I'm not a big fantasy guy. One thing that resonated with me that you said last week, Connor, was you're not really a fan of dwarves, and me neither. Like, I just, like, I've never really liked dwarves in fantasy. I don't really dig them too much in 40k, like the Votan or the Squats. They're cool. They're not my thing. I'm just not into it.
There's people that have a real like dwarf vibe though. There's people that love dwarves.
For sure. It's just like orcs, like you ever meet someone and they're like, I play orcs, and they're like, yeah, you do.
Yeah, there's a guy named Nick who plays it at Fate and Fury up here who exclusively plays orcs, and he's the orc guy. I don't know. That's part of the reason when we read the Brutal Conan book, like I couldn't really get into it. Like I don't feel the orc vibe. I do like the dwarves though. I don't like all the dwarf stuff, but I do like the Hearthkin.
Here's something secret about me. Orcs are actually my favorite faction.
But why don't you play them?
I hate the Commandos kit. Every time I go to build it, I start looking at the sprue, and there may be like 5 things left to clip on the sprue, but I can't find any of the fucking shit I want. I hate it.
It is easily the worst laid out sprue there is. I've been hammering on Games Workshop needs to stop. I know you listen to this. James. You need to stop just putting everything numerically in the same order in the book. Just put it 1 through 100 on the sprue, left to right, top to bottom, and then tell me I need piece 1 and I need piece 15. But that it's going to make sense where they're at on the sprue rather than me needing piece 31 and 32, but 31 is on one sprue and 32 is on another sprue in a totally different area. That's what I want.
Yeah, and that would be better. I don't generally look at the directions when I build. That's also what makes commandos that much more infuriating.
Well, that's got to make it even worse because if
Even
you're
worse. And I tried to look at the instructions. It didn't really help.
yeah, it's a brutal one, but they once you get them together, they are a really good looking kit, but getting them together, yeah, that's one of the worst builds ever.
Yeah, quite cunning of a kit.
I see what you did there. Con, are you excited for Age of Sigmar 4th edition?
Unfortunately, not a ton. I've never really been a big Sigmar guy. I think I've never really been a big fantasy guy myself. Like, Lord of the Rings was enjoyable. Liked reading Aragon when I was like in middle school or something. But other than like Game of Thrones, there hasn't been a fantasy series in a while that's really caught my attention. Like all the cool models, I'm very happy for Sigmar fans that they're getting a new edition. That's really cool. But nothing about it is particularly calling out to me.
So here's my gripe with fantasy, okay? And like a lot of like superhero movies and stuff like that, generally fantasy is like a epic fantasy. It's like end of the world, end of the universe kind of stuff. And I don't really like that. One thing I like about like 40K and stuff like that, well, it's like it is end of the world, end of the universe. Like if a single planet dies out, like fucking that shit doesn't really matter. Like the amount of times like the universe has actually been threatened or the galaxy has been threatened in 40K is very small. I like stakes that are like way more personal in like my media and my literature, more like sword and sorcery. If you know me, you'll hear me talk about Elric or like Conan the Barbarian and stuff like that. As far as fantasy goes, I think those are like a lot more impactful stories.
So I think the rats are cool. I'm doing everything I can to not buy the Skaven Tide box, but I'm sure hopefully it has Dominion levels of production, so then I can just pick it up for like $20 from somebody on the street who's just trying to move it. Because I do think the rats are really cool. I would like to try the Spearhead gameplay too, but yeah, I don't know. I have more than enough plastic to deal with right now.
I mean, a lot of people are really hyped about Spearhead. They say it's like the first thing that they're excited about besides Kill Team.
It looks really boring. Like
Same.
Brandon Bean was talking about how it seems like it's pretty predetermined before you even roll some dice.
Yeah, I just don't see like how you can have that many large models with so little terrain and 5 objectives and it work.
On a kill team board, basically, too.
Yeah, basically. I guess people are excited about it, but like it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna throw some stuff out there and clash and fight real quick, and they will be quick games, so that's kind of cool. But I don't know, they're just like kill team size board with 3 pieces of terrain and 5 objectives. Just seems like a lot. And they're not even, and I think those are like the 6-inch across objectives too. They're like 3 inches from the center.
Yeah, I think that they're pretty big, and like there's some big models. These things, like it's not gonna be. I just like I don't see how it works.
Well, when I finally cave and get the box, we can try it out.
Yeah, you bought a bunch of the Dominion boxes, didn't you, Chuck?
I bought one of the Dominion boxes. I bought it on launch, built the entire thing, painted up a couple of the Oryx, and then never really got to the Stormcast. I then went to LVO and paid for the premium pass, and no, excuse me, I went to Adepticon and paid for the premium pass and was given a box of Dominion. And actually, in the meantime, before that, Nick found me somebody was selling the Stormcast half of the Dominion box for like $60, so I bought that. So I have 2.5 boxes of Dominion, basically.
Ooh, that's a lot of Stormcast to paint up.
A lot of Stormcast. I actually was thinking about it though, and I saw somebody actually on Reddit in the Adeptus Custodes subreddit that actually had painted up some Custodes and did like a verdigris on them. And I was thinking if I could do like have a quick and easy scheme by priming them black, doing gold from above, almost like a zenithal, and then doing like an ink wash with a bright teal to get like a verdigris on it. That I thought it would be quick and pretty cool way to knock out a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, I think that looked pretty cool. I think an oil wash is the way to go with that rather than like an acrylic one or like something like Dirty Down's verdigris wash.
Dirty Down, I feel like it. I haven't used it myself. I have all of it. I haven't used it myself, but I watched Nick use it on the Into the Dark terrain we were working on. It seemed like it was way more. It was way less easy to work with and took a lot more effort to get a lot of to get the quality out of it. And I think that if I did like a teal oil wash, that would be super quick and much easier than using the dirty down.
Yeah, I mean, teal oil wash is fantastic, especially if you apply some texture beforehand to the models, especially on the underside.
Yeah, well, once I finally cave and get my Scaventide box, I'll try that out and see how it works. I've got enough Stormcast hanging out to try it out for now, I guess. Back to Kill Team. There was a balanced data slate that dropped, and we predicted it. And we predicted what Zach scored us gave Connor 0.5 out of 5 for his predictions because Exaction Squad did get a change.
Hey, I never said those were predictions of what was going to happen. I just said they're my hot takes. But that's fair. Of the hot takes, only like one thing got adjusted. No, actually two. Legionaries got changed, so 1.5.
Yeah, but they didn't get the changes you actually said, so
That's fair. Then again, about halfway through, I still think Legionaries could get some sort of proper, maybe not buff, but I think they need probably like one of the most teams that desires / needs a full team rework.
Yeah, I don't know if they quite need a rework. Like, I think that there's like a couple changes you could probably make to fix them, but we won't see it this edition, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, we're going to pretend like we're a proper Kill Team podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to go through all the changes in the data slate until we get bored, and then we'll just skip to something stupid.
Yeah, all of them. Like, we can talk about the big ones. Let's talk about the important stuff, the good stuff.
No, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to until we get bored, and then we'll just talk about the big ones. Okay.
All right.
All right. Focus. Pathfinders. Okay, I'm bored. Let's talk about the big stuff.
Pathfinders is pretty big. I don't know, like, it's good. I don't know if it's going to scare away any of the top players from Pathfinders. Definitely going to hurt them, but like, it's not going to change anything too major. Second turning point, they're still going to be absolutely devastating. They still have a whole lot of movement. Turning point 2, which is where they need it the most. They're still going to get, a lot of marker lights on people. I don't know if it's enough. I think that they could have bumped the recon drone back up to counting as 2 operatives.
So for those who don't know, they took away the recon sweep strategic ploy. You can't use it in the first turning point. So now it kind of slows down their alpha a little bit, but it was pointed out to me that you can still, if you're playing on a hot dog deployment board, you can still basically get the alpha strike with the grenade because you can do a 3-inch dash for your scouting phase. You could do Mont Ka, you could do a move and still chuck the grenade and still be within get it within 1 inch of the far edge board.
Absolutely. Like, it doesn't change too much, especially like on those deployments. I've done it a million times with my Balefire, basically just like that, or like Novitiate's Burning Advance. If I'm feeling really aggressive, it's not going to change someone who's really going for the right kill, especially if you want to move up.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to really change too much with them, and I don't think some of the deployment changes are kind of big too. But Sean, I want to speak directly to you. Now you're listening, buddy. I think you should take these to Tacoma. I think you should not care what anybody says, knowing that you just got nerfed, and you should go there and you should win a golden ticket. And if you happen to face up with me, I know you're kryptonite, so I'm not worried about it. So another one of the changes was the blooded. They made the traitor Ogren have the same ability to not retain light cover like the Hulks and now the Patriarch. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, that was coming. Like, I think they're just trying to get big models kind of in line with each other, so that it all makes sense. I don't think this really changes too much with blooded.
Do you think that higher tech circle should have that too? Because they are big models.
I don't think it's the same kind of big.
You're talking big like muscle mass or like body size, not so much like base size type thing.
You're talking like girth, not length.
Yeah, they're girthy. Hulks, Patriarch, stuff like that. They're all like large models. Whereas like, the Cryptex and stuff like that, they're like flying and they got big coats. Like, they're still skinny ass skeletons.
Yeah, the Hulks and the Ogren, they're like thick and veiny.
I'm gonna cut all of this out, Chuck. I hate you. But yes, I guess that would be the idea they're going behind, because I didn't really see the need for this. I'm gonna like it because it barely boost my win percent chance against Brandon from like 0.02% to 0.021. So that's useful. It's not. I don't think it's going to be much of a significant change. It's more of like a quality of life, get in line type of thing.
Yeah, I don't think that it has anything to do with changing your win percentage against Brandon. I think that's just Brandon's going to continue to beat you down. So next change, Hybrid Circle did get some changes, even though they're not as thick and girthy as other people. Reanimation protocols have been changed too, so now their living metal happens after the reanimation. So pretty much they're going to stand up now and be wounded every time, right?
Yeah, basically. This change feels a little unnecessary.
So they still stand up on a 2+, and then they regain D3+2 lost wounds, but they removed the line actually where it said that basically the order of what happens. So now the reanimation protocols happen and then the living metal happens in the turn.
Yeah, I think this is really rough for the team overall.
All right. So Exaction Squad, the one prediction that Connor actually made, although he said, what'd you say, an extra wound or something? I can't remember. They had two changes. So their dispense justice strategic play lets you reroll any or all of your attack dice. So that's relentless. Added to their strategic play, and then also I believe their gunner or on the terminal decree ploy, which each time they make a shooting attack, somebody within 2 or any of their gunners, they can.
Yeah, they can shoot into combat, basically.
Yes. So the gunners can shoot into combat now too. So the crappy sniper can take a shot across the board into combat. Seems cool. Seems like a buff to them a little bit.
Yeah, definitely going to be useful. Just having the sniper at least be a little bit better because he's kind of not great right now.
I don't know if it's enough. Exaction's pretty good into a couple things in the meta right now. We'll get to it in a moment, but the nerf to goats helps them a little bit. Also makes that matchup a bit better for them. Still not amazing. Yeah, like I still think that they could use a little bit of love.
So what do you think? Let's talk about goats. The goats had a couple of their operatives had one wound removed. So now you have, because they had a weird thing where two of the extra operatives, the Gnarl Scar and the Mangler, had 11 wounds like the leader, and then everybody else had 10. You also have, they took Relentless away from 3 guys, and then now they're Reckless Determination, where they used to be able to retain a save in cover. Now they don't have to be ready, but they can't do it. They can only do it if they're not in cover. What do you think about the changes to that?
I mean, like, I think that they're good. They're a positive change overall. I think goats are still great. We've heard many people cry them being broken or nerfed too hard in the past, and that's proven to be wrong every single time.
I think they're, as someone who tried to play them for a couple games, I think they're wildly complicated, and they don't have the. You can't just run up the board and win anymore. Did you think they even needed these changes?
These changes are positive overall. I don't think it breaks the team by any means. I still think that they're very competitive. It does even a few things out. Changes a few breakpoints like on some operatives, but the change isn't too huge.
Connor, how do you feel like your matchup against the AdMech is now, since that's the lens you look at everything through?
Definitely better. Them going to 10 wounds is a little bit more useful of a breakpoint for a decent amount of my guns. It's gonna be weird, them going to ceaseless rather than relentless for a lot of this stuff, because some of the answer was just bring oops all infiltrators and turn off all their rerolls. So it's kind of a useful thing, but so I might be going a little more Rust Stalker, but I think the matchup's still about the same, all things considered.
And then on to the dwarves, the Hearthkin Salvagers. They had some pretty solid change. The Thane now has basically just a scratch on a dice that's 4 up or more, and then also if anybody's standing on an objective in melee combat, they subtract 1 from one of your opponent's successful hits. So they're a little tougher on objectives, and then a little tougher boss.
I don't think that like you could do the salvagers, not give them the just a scratch while the new dwarves came in with it, and they're not even as heavily armored. So that makes sense. The other change doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, I didn't know they needed that.
I think they'll be a little tougher in melee, especially when they're standing on objectives, and then if they have their knives are like pretty good. 3/5 damage,
Yeah,
I think.
lethal 5. Like they're solid, especially with grudge tokens. I don't know if like that change was really needed.
And then the big change, the new menace of Kill Team is the Scout Squad. They got an extra operative, and the Hunter and the Warrior operatives add 1 damage characteristic to the combat blade. So their combat blades are 4/6 damage now.
Yeah.
They're power weapons.
This is weird. Extra operative is good. I don't like the 4/6 is good for them. It's very, very strange weapon profile, but I don't know. I don't like it. Doesn't make any sense to me why it's stronger than a Space Marine blade when they're just scouts. Why it's as strong as a power weapon from a lore perspective. Why they didn't do the 3/5/5 attacks like you'd normally see on a knife. It's just very, very weird.
Some of the things I've been listening to have said that one of the ways to run these guys might be like Oops All Warriors now, where you run your sergeant and then you run 9 warriors with these combat blades and just go in and murder everyone.
I mean, yeah, but like it's still, is it that reliable? They don't have lethal 5, stuff like that. I think that I don't know how useful that would be personally.
Well, they've got also, you can take equipment to give them balanced, so they can get some rerolls.
Yeah, I mean, like it's solid. It's scary for sure. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. This doesn't seem like the change that they needed.
If you were to tweak them and go back and roll these back and give them the Tyler seal of approval, what would you do?
I mean, like I think we'd do the standard knife profile, 3/5/5 attacks on them. I don't know what else they need. Maybe like some kind of suspensor equipment. Realistically, would probably be really good. The extra operative is always nice. I don't think 1 extra operative really changes the game. I'd like to see the knives just be, I don't know if 3/5/5 attacks makes it more valuable than the shotgun. So maybe you'd have to tweak the bolt pistol, give them like special scout bolt pistols or something like that that have a long range profile also.
Yeah, it seems like nobody is really receiving this very well. Like everybody kind of thinks it's a little bit broken and these guys are going to be a menace for a little while. Do you think they're going to jump up and start challenging for top tables with these changes?
I don't know. Like I'm really kind of on the fence. I think that there's some communities on the internet that tend to overreact about changes in general. Like all of the I think content creators seem pretty level-headed about it. They're definitely like a threat. Like this isn't something to take lightly. Like that's a mean profile for a basic warrior, and it's always like weird when a basic warrior is really, really nasty, and like the guy that does like the soap shoe grind across like barricades and stuff, like he can kill 2 Night Lords, no problem. Like any 2 Night Lords, he can fight and kill them pretty much. So it's like, it's weird. It's like a strange, weird change.
Yeah, it seems like they could have used a little bit more, I don't know. It's a little heavy-handed, it seems like, and it seems like it's going to get rolled back or something else is going to get changed later.
This feels clumsy, like this part of it. Everything other than this feels pretty solid, pretty light touch, which is what I expect generally. I think I would have liked to see Pathfinder styled back just a little bit more. Goats, I think they're probably like, that light touch is probably just right. I think they're still like a good team that, like you said, is complex and you have to set up right for it to really work.
Which is why I'm not playing them. They are fun to mess around with, but I don't have the brain power for it.
I think they're a cool team, but just thematically, they don't do much for me. The models aren't the best, in my opinion, but I'm glad they got some love.
You're wrong about that. Like, these are possibly the best models Games Workshop has ever made.
They are amazing, and they are super fun to paint.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
The goats?
We're talking about goats.
Wow, I'm gonna cut that. Yeah.
No, you leave that in there. You leave your shame in here.
You take your shame.
Whoops, sorry. I thought we were still talking scouts. Yeah, goats, great models. Obviously, everyone loves them and fun.
Yeah, I still need to I gave away my new salvagers to Kit so that she could paint them up and stuff like that and play them. But once I get them back, another set, I'm going to make fat scouts, I think.
I am very excited to see the fat scout idea. I think those would look cooler than base scouts.
There's not enough fatty representation in 40k. Like, you have got like Nurgles and you've got dwarves. That's it. Like, we're just like regular Imperial fatties.
They're the High Lords of Terra.
Yeah, exactly. But I want model representation.
I mean, it's easier to draw a line of sight to you. See if you're visible at least.
Hopefully that's fixed with silhouettes next edition.
I don't think that's coming.
I don't think it's coming either. But a man can pray, hope, dream.
Gentlemen, any other ideas on the balanced data slate? What did you think of it? I know, like, Connor, you woke up a little later than everybody on balanced data slate day and had something like 700 missed messages on Discord.
Yeah, I got a photo of it. It was pretty great. I kept scrolling all the way up because I always like to read most, if not all, of the messages. But in this case, I was like, I just want to see how many there are, and then I'll skim it at best.
Yeah, absolutely. It was intense. I'd worked nights the previous night, and I was not prepared to I went to sleep, I think, right before it dropped, and I woke up and there's probably 1,000+ messages that I had missed.
I actually woke up at like 3 a.m. in the middle of the night randomly and went and checked to see if it had dropped, because Connor and I talked about how it was going to drop and it hadn't, and then woke up 4 hours later and it had dropped. So excited to see it. Don't think it's a great data slate. Think that Kroot could have got something. Kroot didn't get anything, but maybe they're just giving up on Kroot until the next edition.
Yeah, it is definitely a data slate we've received.
That's a shining endorsement of it there, Tyler.
It is one of them for sure.
Yeah, sadly not the most exciting, but I'm glad to see that even their kind of more somewhat boring data slates are still pretty good with affecting a bunch of teams rather than just one or two minimal changes at best.
Better than 40K.
Very well. 40K's newest one was great, but yeah, we get them more often than 40K, which is the big
well. Why was 40K's newest one great? Was it because of a specific army that got a lot of buffs?
That is part of it, but they also addressed a lot of stuff.
I think you said AdMech is finally a functional army again. You guys didn't dominate more than half of 9th.
Hey, I'm talking 10th specifically, and even in 9th, it was for 3 months, and then we paid for those sins for
10th
2
has been
years.
out. 10th has been out for less than a year at this point. So you got to give it some time, and it's still gonna suck. Sorry, Big Hammer players.
Big Hammer's fun, but it's most fun when you're just doing for fun random shit with your friend. Hey, I'm gonna escort this tank from the other side.
I've got such the kill team bug that as a Blood Angels fanboy, I'm trying to talk myself into playing 40K, because the big rumors are that they're going to bring out new Sanguinary Guard and new Lamardes and maybe new Death Company guys, and it's going to be everything I can do to just get myself to play that, because I've just...
Did you hear that the Sanguinary Guard may not have wings?
I know. I'm gonna go buy a bunch of Sanguinary Guard kits and just pop wings on them. Yeah, they're supposed to have the Dante style backpack, which is really cool for Dante. Dante never had wings.
Exactly. They should have fucking wings. What the fuck? It's completely classic with them.
I'm just gonna take one of my 3 different sets of Dominion boxes and take the Indrasta wings and just give them ridiculous wings.
That will look really cool. I hope they keep their wings and that Blood Angels can properly get a range refresh. I know you'll at least come up with something cool, Chuck, if they don't get it.
Yeah, I may have to I don't know, 3D print some wings or something, but Sanguinary Guard have to have wings. You can't not. That's a bridge too far.
Do you think that they're going to keep the toes?
They need wings, and they need toes, and they need abs.
And the belly buttons too.
And I think a few of them have nipples.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. They're really pretty anatomically correct. I hope they scale that up and more so.
Yes. I do actually. The Scout Squad changes, since they seem a little more functional now, make me kind of want to play them a little bit.
Over Brood Brothers?
No, not over Brood Brothers. I'm too deep into Brood Brothers, and yeah, if I had a little while longer, I maybe would switch up again, but I've committed to Brood Brothers. I've got my base coats down. I'm going to play them at Tacoma. It might not be pretty, but I'm going to bank on them being the new big bad.
Okay, good, because if you were about to say you're going to play those over Brood Brothers, I was going to lose my mind. We had just figured out your team, Chuck. You can't be swapping it already.
I mean, when you throw that out there, it makes me want to change my mind and be like, you know what? Maybe I will do Scouts. I've got them all built. They're all primed.
Would you give them a white cloth for their little under armor, or are you going to go with black
for the Scouts?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is there Blood
they're
Angels Scout box art? Is the real question.
no, actually, because they're Black Templars, actually, because I did my Black Templar Intercessors, and then I did or Intercession Squad, and then I did Black Templar for Justian, and so I just kept rolling with that since I had also the initiates. I think they are with the Black Templar box, so they're all actually Black Templars.
I'm blown away by your disloyalty to Sanguinius.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Templars are pretty cool too.
They do have some cool looking armor. I always like the very knightly look, and what's nice is the Primaris kits. You can definitely buy them and just use them for your own army, and then just not put on the Black Templar shoulder pads, and then you got some cool like specialized squads of Marines.
I did actually take a Templar. I don't know if it was a Marshal, I think, and shave off all of his Templar filigree and add in Blood Angel stuff and made a really cool Blood Angels captain out of him.
The Castellan is like one of the coolest models, like especially like based on that old John Blanche artwork.
Castellan is super sweet. They actually the Black Templars range refresh they did was really good. I like the
Really good.
God, what's his face from Armageddon, the chaplain Grimaldus. The Grimaldus one is really good too.
Yeah, and then Helbrecht's really good too with the little polisher guy.
Hopefully the Blood Angels refresh gets that same treatment.
I think that the trickle, like I think that they'll get some stuff like about the same amount that the Dark Angels did, but I think we'll still see like slow releases and trickles of kits over the next few years for all this stuff.
Dark Angels got quite a bit though, because they got Lionel Johnson, they got Azrael, they got the Deathwing. We got quite a bit.
Yeah, they got the companions also. Yeah, it was a solid refresh for them.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna like tempt me back to 40k is being able to play with all that stuff.
With the new upgrade sprue, how they got a bunch of cool stuff in it, like the little watchers, so glad they got that. But Chuck, what would you hope to see in a Blood Angels version of that?
I'd love for them to refresh the Death Company, like the old Death Company. The old Death Company box is just absolute Blood Angels glory, because there's so many shoulders and so many Blood Angels bits in there that it's ridiculous. Like if you buy the Blood Angels like upgrade sprue, or you buy the new Intercession Death Company, it's got like a couple different shoulders, just some like generic heads and stuff, but the old school Death Company box was amazing. I think I have like 4 or 5 of them. I even made, when I made my Death Company intercessors, I didn't even use anything from the Primaris upgrade. I used everything from the old school box, even the old backpacks and stuff, because it's way, way, way cooler.
Yeah, that's how the old company champions for Dark Angels are also.
Yeah, I think they did it right with the Black Templars upgrade. That's got a lot of Black Templar stuff, but it had all the other, and the same thing with the Cadian Guard, new Cadian Guard upgrade. I think that was really good too. But the previous upgrade ones where you had like a single sprue with a couple of shoulders and then just like generic heads and maybe a helmet or two that had some of the iconography from those armies, but the rest of them were just kind of crap.
Yeah, they weren't the best. I'm glad we're getting more of them. Like you said, the Cadians got one, and then now, of course, the Dark Angels have one of their own. So definitely hopeful that more of the unique, like non-compendium, or not compendium, but Codex chapters get theirs. I was hoping that if they do the Blood Angels one, since there was a bunch of like Terminator bits for Dark Angels, because I think Tyler, you'll have to answer. They're somewhat associated with like Terminator armor, their veteran wing.
The first company is all Terminator armor. They're the only chapter that can say that.
Okay, nice. So yeah, I did recall that. Well, Blood Angels, we all know. Besides, Chuck already kind of touched on the Death Company. They're also, of course, flying guys and Inferno pistols. So I'm hoping we get some like cool extra backpacks that can work as jump pack Marines, but with like the proper Sanguinius style wings and also some cool ass like Inferno pistols too. Bring Inferno pistols back to Blood Angels. It sucks that they don't really exist in the Primaris range anymore.
Yeah, between the Sanguinary Guard kits and the Death Company kits, it was just Blood Angels bits for days. I have a bucket full of Blood Angels bits. So if the new ones come out and they suck, I'm still good to go.
One thing I never understood is why the Blood Angels Predators were just faster and better than everyone else's. Like all of their tanks were just like better.
Because they have wings.
Red Ball gives you wings.
Red Ball gives you wings. I see what you did there.
Or maybe it's because orcs believe red makes you go faster, right?
I mean,
or is it yellow?
That's gotta be it. No, it's red. Come on, man. You gotta know that. Like everyone knows the red ones go faster. Can't see purple orcs. Like these are like core 40k things.
So maybe like that's why the Blood Angels are faster then. Besides the wings, it's the orcs also think they're faster.
That's probably why they're also more melee and like jump pack oriented. Is that like the orcs believe that they're going to be faster to get in combat because they're red, and so it has changed them.
Yeah, now that, I can see that too. Like, do Blood Angels ever specifically fight orcs in like any sort of story that you guys know of? Because like that
Yeah.
sounds like the ultimate crazy speed demon mode.
I mean, like there's a couple books I think where they fight orcs. Like orcs are often the older books are not as good as the a lot of the newer ones though.
I mean, the second edition box set was Blood Angel versus Orcs.
Yep, the very classic artwork too.
That was the first box I ever bought for Warhammer.
It's a good box, especially with the.
I still have.
You still have the standee?
I don't know if I still have the standee, and I think I lost the Gretchen somehow, but I have most of like the original Firstborn Blood Angels. I'll take a picture of one and some of the first miniatures I ever painted.
That's really cool. I'm so jealous of you. Honestly, I wish I had any of my old stuff.
Yeah, I have like one or two of the Gretchen. I have no idea where the rest went. I have some of the classic orcs though too. I don't think I have the standee. All right, so from the grim darkness of the far future in Warhammer 40K to Ask Vox Cascadia. So we have some questions tonight. Addie had actually some questions she asked last week, but I wanted to make sure we got Tyler's opinion on them too, because I don't trust Connor's. So first one, does Vox Cascadia possess magical powers? If so, what are they?
I mean, like we can't tell you what our magical powers are because if we tell you, then you may turn us into the Inquisition or try to subvert our magical powers. All I'm saying is that we have had numerous events where boxes premiere, and there was an eclipse last year at Killscream 2. It was not related to any kind of ritual, despite the rumors.
I mean, my magic power is picking on Connor.
I like Tyler's more of the two of them. I'm gonna be honest.
My actual magic power is knowing like the end of a movie I've never seen before. Just like a random movie, I'll be like, oh, this is that movie where this one thing happens. It's happened a number of times to me. Never seen the movies, but I know the plot to them.
How do you know them?
I no clue. It's just happened like probably 5-10 times in my life, and I've never seen the movies, but I know the movie.
Is this like a weird like movie kind of deja vu thing you have?
I mean, like, you know, one could say that time is not like a linear thing. So maybe I've seen the movie at some point within like the span of all of existence in the future. And there's just like weird bleed over. And I just like know the movie from that.
So you're saying that there's multiple timelines happening, and in these multiple timelines, what comes out of them is you find out what happens at the end of movies.
No. So there's just one timeline. So like, you know, like we view ourselves as a dot moving like through space and time. And like we're not the dot moving through space and time. We're a line segment within like existence, you know? So like if you look at like a 3D grid, like or like space time, you know, like if you were to do a cube, the volumes, we'd all be like little line segments rather than a dot moving through that time. Everything already exists. We just can't view it all at once.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds sci-fi and cool.
That's my working theory on why I know about little bits of movies.
Fair enough. Connor, what's your magical power?
Being allergic to sugar.
And how does this magic power manifest in like how do you harness this magic power besides leaving shit in refrigerators and loving Diet Dr. Pepper?
Sadly, just pretty much that. When I do have sugar, it gives me a like bonus super energy burst, but it's like running an engine hot. It's dangerous because it could damage the engine, but it does give you some bonus power type thing.
Gotcha. Did you, when you were running in the engine hot, as you put it one time, was that when you picked AdMech to be your true passion in life?
No, it wasn't anything like that, but on a more realistic answer, when I get a low blood sugar, the best way to describe it is like my body will produce more adrenaline to try and find any remaining like sugar in the blood type of deal thing. And so oftentimes before like meets and stuff and like swim team way back in the day, I would let my blood sugar drop a little bit lower than normal before I go swimming so I could have a little bit of a boost.
So you can like kind of dope
like yes
performance enhancing drugs by not
By giving
Doing
myself too
anything?
much insulin, or a little bit more than normal. Yes, that I guess that is the closest thing I could describe it as.
All right, so you're on the juice.
Connor with roid rage is like one of the funniest thoughts I can have at the moment.
Again, he just like be like, you idiot.
It'd
Yeah.
be very sweet. It'd be like the nicest mean stuff anyone's ever said to me.
I do love this idea that everyone has, or like they can't see me being angry, because it reminds me of, like, I'm not a very angry person by nature, but I was a little shit of a teenager. I'd play COD, like in 7th grade, and tell people they're dog shit and whatnot. And I'm just like, I'm glad I just don't have this rudeness in my body anymore. I grew out of that like dickhead teenage phase.
And Addie has a second question. How good are the Brood Brothers and Jaegers in y'all's professional opinion? And I don't know if we can be considered professionals, at least me.
I mean, like, they're good. Like, Brood Brothers is good. They're probably going to be a problem, I think. I've said they are going to be a problem from the second I saw them, but they're not a problem for the reasons I thought they were going to be. Jaegers seem really solid. If you're not prepared for the matchup, they can definitely catch you off guard. A plus on both.
Why are Brood Brothers going to be a problem in your opinion then?
I think that they're just like, I don't think individually any of the models are that great. I think collectively all of their abilities together just come in to be something that's just a little oppressive.
Connor, what do you think of the new teams?
Jaegers, I think, are pretty cool, but I question their ability to play the game super effectively. Mostly just because, like I said, 4-inch movement feels real bad, even with all the movement pregame and boosting APL they got. Otherwise, I think Brood Brothers are definitely the stronger of the two teams, and like Tyler said, I think they're going to be a little bit of a problem, especially for certain teams. But I think overall they'll both be okay and like fun to play as and against, which is the main thing that always matters for teams.
Well, I'm hoping that the Brood Brothers are wildly broken and easy to play, and I win a golden ticket.
I hope so too, Chuck.
I mean, I've never been to Atlanta. I've been through Atlanta.
Yeah, same.
Been through the airport.
Same. I'd
Never
I'd
been
like to
there.
go.
It has a very cool show named after it, but yeah, it would be fun to go to Atlanta. They have a grand narrative going on now, so I think with Kill Team. So if we don't win a golden ticket, we can always sign up for that.
Speaking of travel for Kill Team, Connor, have you booked your plans to go down to the All Valley Team Tournament?
I've not yet booked any formal stuff. Me and Sierra have discussed it, but we just were ordering stuff to go to Chicago in August, so we'll have September to talk about later on.
What are you going to Chicago for?
My aunt is having her birthday, and it'll also be me introducing Sierra to my extremely large family over there.
What are you guys, like, serious or something?
Yes, I like my girlfriend. I'm sorry, my girlfriend of like 4.5, 5 years at this point. Yeah.
Ew, that's gay.
So gay. I like your girlfriend too, more than you actually, but
I hate you, Chuck. Tyler, whatever you said, cut out for me.
Oh, I just said that's gay, that you like your girlfriend.
Oh, okay. It quite is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on the internet these days, it seems like anything you do it's called gay for some reason. Like liking women is gay now. I don't know.
It's like the 2000s all over again, early 2000s, but like not negative. It's positive, you know?
But yeah, and if it's in a positive way, then yes. But yeah, so hopefully we'll have a good time there, and then we can go down to California in September.
So who's your team going to be for? Because it's a team tournament. You got to take you and other people, and I don't think Sierra knows how to play Kill Team yet.
I have yet to convince her to learn how to play it, so maybe by then I'll have it. Otherwise, I don't know. That's the big question. I got to figure it out. I need to see who all from KTC is going, and whether I can bum onto like you and Tyler and like Brandon of the really good players, because I'm pretty decent, but I'm like, I think like tier 2 in terms of like tier 1 being the best and tier 2 and so on and so forth type thing. So we'll have to find out.
Tyler, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Connor loves this game. Connor, I think, is really good at this game, but I feel like, and I wonder if you think this too, that Connor is so stuck on his stupid robots that he hasn't branched out to another team that would really like blossom his ability to play this game and really move him to the next echelon of Kill Team players.
I tend to agree with that. I think that it's good to play other teams, even if you never commit to those teams. I also think it's good to paint other stuff. Paint another chapter, paint units different than you would. Teach yourself something different. If you're always painting the same stuff, you'll get better at it. But changing stuff up, trying new techniques, doing new stuff is always going to create more improvement. Like it's struggle that it improves thing.
So knowing what you know about Connor and knowing what you know about Admech, if you were to say, Connor, here is your new team. Go flourish, win a golden ticket. Who would it be?
That's pretty difficult. I think Goats is honestly like a good pick for him. There's fairly high mental load. It's a lot of melee. There's a lot of like trickery and stuff like that. I think that'd be a good pick. Gellerpox is always interesting. Speaking of, I'm surprised they didn't get touched at all in the data slate. To hop back just a little bit, they're going to be a real threat. I think we could expect to see them show up strong in Tacoma. But I think that something that changes up his play style pretty drastically could be good for him.
That's fair. I've definitely wanted to, like, I play other teams on and off, but mostly like in bursts of I'll do 3 or 4 games on TTS or like 1 or 2 in person. But I know I definitely need to expand my play, the teams I play, just to get better overall. But I'll have to try Goats. I've always kind of liked the mixed threat teams, and I like the teams that each match you bring a different operative, like Warp Coven, for example, or Brood Brothers to an extent. So Brood Brothers have been catching my eye for a while. Otherwise, I think I might like Corsairs because I like going fast, even though they're a very like bring the same operative every time team.
I would just love to see you, Connor, switch to a team that was not everybody's fourth worst matchup, because I think that you have a very analytical mind. You are way smarter than I am at this game, at least as far as like knowing stuff, and you know your team inside and out. I would love to see what you could do with a team that was actually like closer to the top of the meta.
Yeah, I definitely think branching out would be like super positive. I don't, like a game or two on TTS is going to be one thing. Commit to a team. Do 20 reps with a team. Go take a new team to a tournament. Feel it out,
And Connor, this is the intervention that you don't need or didn't ask for. That we're here for you, buddy. We see you. We appreciate you. Play another fucking team.
Unscripted, unplanned, but just needed. Tonight, we hit a tipping point and we couldn't help ourselves.
I need help. I get it. No, that's the plan. Is legitimately after Tacoma Open, I've talked about it, but I do want to be doing another team. It's just a matter of figuring out which team, because I've got Kasserkin mostly painted but not touched up. I've always been interested in trying Warp Coven, but that sounds like another nightmare of just painting a million models, and that's even more trim than Admech. And I might go Brood Brothers because I got them and they look fun.
But like, you're not going to do like an Admech Brood Brothers kit bash, are you?
No,
completely different.
Yeah, if anything, I kind of touched, I think, on a last episode or like 2 ago, but I'm going to do like maybe a single AdMech model in it, but otherwise they're going to be like Penal Legion Guardsmen, and then I'll use a Patriarch as like an AdMech robot controlled by a Tech Priest type thing.
There it is. There's the AdMech. But I want to, like, I want to pay you this compliment because I give you a lot of shit. I think you're a very good kill team player who has hitched his wagon to everybody's fourth worst matchup. I think, and I'd love to see you again, just like expand your horizons, break out, and see what you could really do with a team that's more tuned for what the meta is right now. If you don't ever want to do that, that's fine. Like, you play this game and have fun, but I think you just really go far.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words, especially coming from you, Chuck. I've thought also too, this was something I wanted to bring up the other day, but I forgot last episode. I've thought about doing Phobos, but have you guys ever noticed that of all the chapters you see the most of being Phobos, at least personally, I have seen more Imperial Fist Phobos teams than like any other chapter put together, which is really strange to me because like of all the teams to be Phobos, you don't think Imperial Fist. That's like the least Phobos team there is.
I definitely don't think of Imperial Fist. I don't think I've actually seen an Imperial Fist team locally.
I think it's probably because people want to paint yellow, but they don't have to paint as much yellow because they have to paint a few guys since everybody hates painting yellow.
That's fair. Yeah, yellow's definitely a difficult one. But maybe it's just my local area then. But in Tacoma, there's at least 3 and I think maybe 4 Phobos Imperial Fist players, and I think we got another one over in Seattle as well. It's just a weird coincidence I've noticed.
I'm a huge fan of the Imperial Fist yellow for painting yellow. Like, it's fast, it's bright, it's really good.
I've always wanted to try apparently the way to paint yellow is to paint pink first. You paint it pink, you do a white zenithal, and then you get yellow over the top. You get some nice shadows and stuff. And maybe, I mean, have you guys seen the screenshots from Space Marine 2?
Yeah.
Have you seen that ass? Maybe that's why all the Phobos players are liking the Fist.
I mean, yeah, Phobos is a great team. Also, like Taylor said, Imperial Fist Yellow. Of all the yellows I use, that is the one I use the most, and it is just perfect. You use one layer and you got like banana yellow. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Over Zenithal Prime with black as a base, If you layer it on with an airbrush, you'll get like a really nice green at the bottom or in the shadows where it hits the black. And I personally like that for like grimdark stuff. I think that looks really cool, especially when you like grub it up.
All right, back to the questions. Addie has one more. If you invite any one person into the hobby onto Vox Cascadia, who would it be? I think Arbiter Ian would be my pick.
Oh man, I think it'd be like great to talk to Arbiter Ian, but like I feel like he's like he's way too put together, way too organized on his stuff. I feel like we'd have to have like a book club or something more structured for him.
But what if we actually like had Arbiter Ian like take like season 3 of Kill Team and talk through the lore of it? Because I don't really know the lore other than they crashed on a planet.
Oh man, that'd be super incredible. Sign me up. Yeah, I think that's my pick.
Or even better, Arbiter Ian and Mira.
Only if they kiss. No, you guys don't have to kiss. I've said that too much on the podcast. What if you guys actually listen one of these days and then hear me say that? That would be embarrassing.
I would love to be there just to fly on the wall while they're recording to have the back and forth play with Arbiter Ian and Mira talking about Beta Decima and having Beta Decima sound really, really cool.
I mean, if anyone can make Beta Decima sound cool, it's Arbiter Ian.
Connor, who's your pick?
Honestly, play on tabletop. Nick would be one of my favorites. I think even though they don't really do a ton of Kill Team on that channel, his enthusiasm I hope would have mixed well with mine, because every time he's in a video, his enthusiasm for the hobby and the game is genuinely infectious. And as much as I love AdMech is like as much as he loves Tau, so I think we could have a fun rivalry of like the somewhat more sci-fi focused laser gun factions.
I don't know if I mentioned, I got to meet Tau Nick at Adepticon
What?
last year.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Okay, we're going to Adepticon.
Yeah, he gave me a fist bump. It was sweet.
That's awesome. Everything I've heard about, like just all the Plan guys, they all seem great, but the question was only one person, so I have to go with Nick. But I'd love to have all of them on.
I think if I could pick one person, since Arbiter Ian was your pick, and I said I like that, but like I think Tyler Russo, $1 Billion Clown Farm, which I should reach out to him, see if he wants to show up on our podcast. He's been playing a lot of Kill Team lately, and I think he's like the hobby personality's favorite hobby personality kind of person. He's like the Chapel Roan of the hobby.
Yeah, I was shown his stuff a while ago. I think it was the one where he was airbrushing in his car, and it was amazing. He's got an amazing personality, and yeah, reach out to him. Let's get him on the podcast.
Yeah, Tyler's a super cool guy. So, and he has a great name too. Tyler's got to stick together.
And we have a question from Sean. Sean wants to know a couple things, actually. What are our plans for Tacoma? Me, I'm going to head up on Thursday evening, I think, crash at Nick's house. Probably go into Tacoma Friday and just check out what's going on. And then Saturday, I'm going to dominate with the scary Brood Brothers. What are you guys doing for Tacoma?
I will be there earlier in the week. My plans are still kind of up in the air a little bit at the moment, but I will be at Tacoma.
Connor, what about you?
Come on, is that even a question, Chuck? What team am I bringing?
Well, what are the rest of your plans? We know you're bringing AdMech. We know you're going to retire AdMech after this.
Not retire, but put on a temporary hold. But definitely going to be trying to pick up some of those Kroot and the commemorative Knight models, because they look super fantastic. And otherwise, just have a great time. Hopefully make 6 or 7 new friends if I'm fighting people that aren't in KTC. Otherwise, make X amount of friends that aren't in KTC and get them added into KTC. And then probably go out with you guys afterwards and have some delicious food.
Yeah, we need to assign someone to quickly find us a big place for the Kill Team community to go eat after the first night.
I do. Okay,
Connor,
I actually do have a recommendation.
Oh, shit.
I actually do for once. It is not in the immediate area. It is about a 10-minute drive, maybe 20
walk.
It's
got to be a walk for people. Like people aren't driving.
I think we might be able to take the like link, which is their like Tacoma train down to the area. But it is a Asian buffet. Me and Sierra have been there, and it is fantastic. It's extremely affordable, which is nice. And like I'm talking like this must have been in a building that's like the size of an old Macy's or a Kmart. And they've got like all the Asian types of food you can imagine are there. They have like a sushi section and a wok on fire type section. And like, like classic Chinese, like, or American Chinese food. And then like, like a whole dessert bar, both American and Asian style food. It is fantastic. It might be too far, so we might have to find somewhere closer, but I'll have to check the distances after this.
It's just 30 minutes away. We've never been there before. It's going to be great, I'm sure.
I have been there before, and it is great.
Okay. Walk on Fire, like, is that like your guys' version of Mongolian Grill up there?
Yes, it is. It's like the more local one, but yeah, it's the
Okay.
same type of thing.
You know, I almost won a recipe contest. I won for like my local place. Okay, like I entered a Who Hot contest, and I won like for there, and they put my name on a wall with a plaque and stuff that I was like their local winner, and I got free Who Hot for a year. And then
Sorry, real quick. Are you saying you got free hoo-ha?
Who Hot, like that's
Hoo-ha?
Who Hot.
Oh, I thought that was like a weird, like, I didn't know what kind of place you were going to where you're getting free hoo-ha.
Yeah, I mean, you know, anywhere I go, you know, I just fumble it though.
Fumbling bad bitches hoo-ha.
Yeah, exactly. But like it's a Mongolian grill place chain. It's really good. And then I got beat out by this really shitty one called the Hot Chick, and it was just chicken and fucking jalapenos with teriyaki sauce on it. And I was so mad, and I had like a really good recipe.
So what was your recipe? Because the chicken with jalapenos and teriyaki sauce actually sounds really
I mean,
good.
like that's good. It's fine. It's just super basic. Mine was like a mustard based sauce and based on their stuff. You know, it was really good. It was really, really good. I just think that the other one was more basic and probably appealed to more people. Not as good though.
All right, so I guess we're going to Connor. I need you to like, as the planner of the group, I need you to send me the information so we can plan some logistics for this, because I'm gonna have to drive back to Port Orchard with Nick every night too.
Oh, that's a good point.
You're gonna need to go scout this place out again, Connor.
Sounds good. I will look and find somewhere good for us.
If it's not as good as Tyler's hoo-ha, I don't want it.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, and then Sean also asks how Connor stays healthy during a 3-day tournament.
That's the neat part. I don't. For Tacoma Open, my plan is to run on fumes after day one and then die on Monday morning.
This is a horrible plan for anyone who's
It is.
listening.
I'm not good with planning. We know this.
Drink water, bring food, bring snacks, get a good night's sleep, eat healthy, treat yourself like an athlete. Or, you know, after you lose your first game, get drunk, but be respectful.
Very true. Obviously, all of that is much more real advice and stuff that I'm planning on doing. Bring snacks. Ideally, like Tyler said, something not greasy. Carrot sticks are pretty good because they have no food in them. And then, even though
Wait, did you say carrot sticks have no food in them?
I did, but I meant like they're not. I meant like no grease on them. You know, like pretzels and stuff, and like goldfish are good, but they have a little like bit of film type feeling that leaves on your fingers, which isn't great for models.
Don't eat during your games either.
Well, I mean, you can snack like something small, but yeah, don't bring a full meal.
I'm getting ribs. I'm eating them at the table.
Okay,
I would respect that power
ribs.
move.
Okay, ribs are a little ridiculous. Chicken wings.
I think
that's
you should
fine
bring
though.
Cheetos.
Okay.
We bring
Sierra says Cheetos. Apparently.
Cheetos and then constantly adjust the other person's models.
Yes, absolutely, the way to go.
Yeah,
Even better than adjusting their models is like picking them up and being like, "Oh, can I look at your paint job? This is really nice. You got a little something on here." So, real knowledge though: comfy shoes, drink lots of water, snacks that aren't Cheetos. Sierra.
Oh, deodorant too. Even though it's an AC'd place, it gets pretty hot. So make sure you bring that if you're like me and you're a sweater.
Deodorant, change of clothes.
it's going to be warm this year, I think. It was warm last year, and Kill Team is double what it was. Age of Sigmar and all of that stuff is probably, larger also.
Age of Sigmar, this is the first tournament with 4th edition Age of Sigmar too.
Yeah,
Very
it's going to
true.
be big. I've been talking with some Age of Sigmar people about some stuff, and the community seems to be really turning out these days.
Nice, that's good. It's always risky with a new edition, so it's glad that people are enjoying it so far from what they've seen. And Chuck, you mentioned a change of clothes, but you know what clothes you should change into? Your disregarding dice merch, of course.
Whoa.
Wait, no,
whoa.
who the fuck is
disregarding
Yeah.
dice
Oh
merch?
my god, I said the wrong one.
No, Adam, you're...
Zach's got merch now? Zach's got a merch drop. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Come on. Support fellow content creators, but you should be
True,
aware.
but no. Whoops. Wow, my bad. I was just on his site, so that's why I have it. Your dice thrower merch. There you go, Connor.
Yeah,
But yeah, Tyler's got those sweet designs, so make sure to change into them.
Yeah, you should also be wearing your Cats jerseys. If you ordered one, I will have them by Tacoma. Fingers crossed, unless something happens. Should have a couple extras if anyone missed out on that. So
I'm just excited for the disregarding dice swag.
Yeah,
Well,
let's get in on that, Zach. Let's talk. So let's get your stuff printed up. I'll run it.
we can get some Sick No Vicious theme stuff.
That's my next Sisters of Battle for my next shirt.
All right. And Colin asks, you have to live in a frat house with one of the kill teams. Who are you picking? Who's the best roommate? Who's the worst?
I'm picking like just not vet guard because I don't want to be like around a bunch of death corps like clone boys.
Yeah,
Like I don't want to be
they
around.
can also, they got a lot of gas masks, and I heard those are good for like smoking.
I mean, that's true, like, but I don't think they'd be into that. I bet they're pretty dull. I think just like regular Imperial Guard, just like vanilla compendium Imperial Guard. Like we basically have that now. It's like the military. And I know people who've been in the military and they came out. Y'all are great. I love you. Thank you for your service.
What about like Hand of the Archon? Would be fun if you're into that.
No, like they're gonna prank you at some point, but their pranks are gonna be horrible. Like cause extra bones to grow out of your flesh.
That sounds like a bonus.
I don't know, man.
I feel like Hearthkin or Hernkin Jaegers, like those boys would want to drink. I feel like that's good. I'm into that.
Yeah, the Jaegers are probably up there also. They probably like to ride motorcycles too.
I feel like you can't have Sisters of Battle because they're going to be like Emperor Thumpers the entire time.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty intense. I'm sure that there's some people that are going to argue their Catholic schoolgirl fantasies, whether sapphic or not, about it. But I don't know if it's going to be that way.
Yeah, that seems like being not so much like that, but like at a weird Mormon cult type thing. So that doesn't seem too fun.
Night Lords are among the worst. Mandrake's real bad. Also, any of the elves, honestly, they're gonna look down on you. Be like being wealthy and like other people being wealthy and you being poor in a rich frat.
I feel like, what about Breachers? I feel like Breachers are Navy boys. They like to party.
Yeah, they're probably pretty solid people.
They probably swear as much as me, so I'll get along well with them.
You swear too fucking much, Connor.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll try and keep it PG.
Who else would be good? I feel like Goats would be the worst. Goats and Gellerpox would be the worst.
Nemesis Claw are probably some of the worst also.
I mean, I feel like Goats are going to be like, you're going to be for the third time, you're going to be like, bro, the bathroom is over there. It's not in here.
Yeah, I mean, like they're just gonna smear whatever they decide is their idol with shit. That's canon lore from the book.
Night Lord's unfortunately going to be like, you're going to be just kind of like, you're going to retire for the night, and then all of a sudden you're going to look up and there's going to be like red eyes on the ceiling.
Yeah, or they're just gonna like the best you can hope for is to be like their bitch boy like Sevatar, or not Sevatar, Septimus. Sevatar is a different Night Lord.
Join our book club.
Kassakin are probably a little too uptight. Like they're like elite. Inquisition, you definitely like that's like rooming with like someone who wants to like I want to be in the CIA.
Yeah, no, they're just gonna narc you out to their Inquisitor. Kroot, no, because they're just like
they're supposed to be slimy and smelly also, but probably pretty good
they want
fellas.
to consume you. I feel like Tao would be really good about being like, hey man, like you did the dishes last week, so I'm gonna do them this week for you because for the greater good.
I feel like I could bully your average Tao, probably.
Maybe just like talk him into doing like your stuff and being like, I got you next week, like for the greater good, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not keen on roommates, so if I have to be suddenly roommates are in a frat with them, why not? I'll take control of them. In lack.
You feel like chaos cults are gonna be like you're just trying to hang out, and they're like, do you think you're gonna mutate soon?
I mean, it'd probably be like hanging out, like living in a punk house, which I've kind of done that in the past, and it's not ideal, especially like a more organized frat of them. Like you got the cult leader, like they're all they're doing weird shit. One guy's got like too many knives, and he's like way too interested in them, but like not in a cool way, a creepy way.
I feel like commandos would want to party way too hard for me.
For sure. Definitely party boys. They'd be a good time.
I feel like Star Striders, though. I feel like Star Striders would be very adventurous, and they'd be like, we'd want to go on a beer run or something, but then we would end up just in the weirdest place, like selling some shit in an alley.
It'd be like the trust fund kid who like is selling drugs on the side, and you kind of get roped into all of his adventures.
Yeah, they've got their like warrant of trade, and they're just like figure they can do whatever the hell they want with it.
My dad is the mayor of this town. I can get away with whatever I would like.
Do you know who my dad is? He's a High Lord of Terra.
It's exactly that. Like I mean, like, it's even portrayed in that in like some of the books, basically.
You feel like Exaction Squad is just going to be like some narcs where you're
Fucking
just like,
cops, like, no,
Oh, absolutely.
they're probably the worst. I'd rather hang out with the goats. Like, I'll deal with the shit. I'll deal with the gas cults. Like, fucking cops. Fuck that. Custodians would probably be pretty
I
dope.
feel like custodians are just going to want to like work out the entire time.
No,
though.
they're artisans. They know all the philosophy. Like, they'd be like,
Yeah, that's supposed to be what the Space Marines are. Like Blood Angels are supposed to be the
no,
ones that are like
it's the
they're
custodians.
like painting shit.
They're personal companions to the emperor. You know, they've been educated on all forms of philosophy, religion, art. They are truly what it is. And it's like blood angels are just berserkers disguised as, you know, vampires, Catholic vampires.
Plus, Chuck, did you ever go and finish like this first season of Mob Psycho?
No, of course
Dang
not.
it, Chuck. Okay, I was gonna make a comparison for anyone that has seen it. I imagine Custodies would be like the workout club in that, where like you think they're gonna be giant jocks and like total assholes, but in fact they just believe in like self improvement and like whether that be through art or working out or however you find that most enjoyable. That's how I imagine the Custodies to be.
I got that far into it that I know about the workout
Okay,
club, but
I don't remember where they show up.
I feel like the Venn diagram of people who have like who've watched all of Mob Psycho season 1 and listened to our podcast is not existent.
I bet it's way higher than you think it is.
If you've watched Mob Psycho, please message us on @Vox_Cascadia or tag us in the Vox Chat Discord channel.
I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z. Well, not Z. What is it? Super lately. I think I'm like 100 episodes in to the newest, I don't know, season of it.
That's a lot.
They're fast, like, because you skip like the first 3.5 minutes, which is the intro and like the recap, and then like the last 3.5 minutes also. So you're taking 7 minutes off of it. It's like maybe like 15 minutes. So they like, and not even that. Like, so you're popping them out when you're watching.
Still a lot of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, honestly. It's just fun. It's something dumb to put on in the background, but like they're constantly like, basically they like won't see each other for like a week, and they'll meet again. They'll be like, wow, you got a lot stronger, and then it's like the same fight as always, but like, you know, it's good, but not.
I feel like the Blooded would also be a really crappy roommate. I feel like you'd be sitting there on the couch watching something and one of them would just stab you.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just smash the TV, and you'd be like, what the fuck did you do that for? And he's like, chaos.
Like, bro, we were watching the Europa League. Come on.
Football!
Gentlemen, thank you for reconvening with us. It's good to have you back, Tyler.
It's good to be back.
We missed you, buddy.
Missed you guys too.
This is the time where we shill stuff. Connor, you can get yours out of the way since it's really awkward.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, follow me @Spanaway on everything. Or, of course, follow us all @Vox_Cascadia. Make sure to be following Tyler, too, @Dice Thrower. There we go. We got it this time. So get his shirts, Tyler. You can talk more about those, but I love them, and I'm so excited to get all the new ones.
Still not either.
Yeah.
So you can follow Tyler at Lowbrow Minis or dicer.bigcartel.com.
Yeah, but there's no shirts available right now. It's pre-orders are done on everything up until the next drop. If you missed out on these designs, you'll have a chance to pick them up in person in October, and then after that, limited stock available online. And in the future, there will be a couple more designs before October. But for now, these are the last time you'll see these designs for this year at minimum.
Well, the good thing is apparently Zach has some shirts coming up soon, so we can look out for those.
Yeah, and then I am working with some people to hopefully bring more shirts to y'all sooner, so maybe expanding my range a little bit more and faster than expected.
CascadiaTabletop.com is where you can get your Kill Scream 3 tickets. So remember, it's going to be a 128 player tournament with a golden ticket in Portland, Oregon, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it's going to be an entire convention too. We have a lot more stuff going on besides Kill Scream. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have painting classes. We're going to have other games. We're going to have a bunch of ridiculous stuff too. So get your tickets while you can. They're moving right now, so make sure to get one before it sells out.
Yeah, and if you go to killscream.com this weekend, it should be updated to take you to where you can buy your tickets. So probably Saturday or Sunday, you'll be able to just go there, and it'll direct you where you need to go to get everything you need.
You can find me at Painting Cave Minis. I'm trying to do my shill, buddy. Come on, talking over me. What were you gonna say, Connor?
I was gonna say, Tyler kind of
You can find me at painting. Oh,
go ahead, do your
you go.
thing.
You go ahead, buddy.
No, you.
All right, you can find me at Painting Cave Minis on Instagram. I post every once in a while. Please, if you can, subscribe to our show, leave a comment, give us a 5-star review, do all that stuff. If you have any feedback for us too, we'd love to know what you like, what you don't like, and why it's Connor's Advec.
Well, that's not a very positive thing after all the positivity we shared today, but that's fair.
Well, thank you again, gentlemen. Appreciate y'all coming out, and take some time this week to hold close the bad bitches that you treasure.